So a few weeks ago, Trent Reznor did a set at Coachella under the name of 9 Inch Noize. He teamed up with the German electronic musician Noize. They're a DJ, songwriter. Some of their credits over the years include like co-writing Lady Gaga's Rain on Me, on top of doing various remixes for a wide array of artists over the years, sort of doing house and club, also being very noisy at the same time. Noize and Trent have been working together the past few years, like on the Tron Ares soundtrack and the Challengers soundtrack, and more recently they decided to team up for this Coachella set. And I heard about this, and it was them taking 9 Inch Nails tracks, and there's a How to Destroy Angels track on there too, which was a side project Trent did back when I was in high school in the early 2010s. Mostly 9 Inch Nails tracks though. I'm taking those and kind of re-interpolating them, basically turning it into like club music. And usually when the older artists, they want to like modernize an older song, the older name teams up with a younger name and they want to like freshen up the older songs. I think about what like Elton John did a few years ago, taking like Tiny Dancer and doing that version with Britney Spears, where it's like a house track now. And it's just like, you get it, but it's also like, just go to listen to the original, But here, this is very different. And I mean, leave it to Trent to kind of understand nuance here. I mean, 9 Inch Nails was always very nuanced music. They really thread the needle here, and it really just feels like a natural, just kind of reworking of these songs. The integrity of the originals is still there. It kind of feels like you're listening to the originals, but there's just a more modern edge that blends very, very well with the original. It fits very, very well. It never kind of loses that original soul that it had. This is something, I could see like Charlie XCX fans bumping to this. I could see like Slater fans bumping to this. Anyone that's into that kind of stuff, the noisy electronic stuff, the hyper pop stuff, the club crowd, like this was done at Coachella. So it's crazy that they not only attempted to bridge that gap, which sounded cringy to begin with, but the fact that it lands as well as it does was the thing that really surprised me. I ended up tuning in. They did the streams online. I wasn't there, but I watched the stream online. I was just curious, and I ended up watching the whole set. They did 2 sets. They released the album on that following Friday, and then on Saturday they did the second set. So I was listening to the album all day, and then the next day I tuned in for that second set and I watched it, and I was just in awe at how well it landed. It's really just a great set. I've been listening to this album pretty much on loop. The inclusion of a lot of Year Zero tracks made sense, and it really hit me just how ahead of its time Year Zero was. What I also really love is he was mostly picking like deep cuts on this thing. If you told me that in 2026 he'd be pulling out Memorabilia, which is a B-side from the 90s, at Coachella, and it would probably be the best song on the entire album, I wouldn't believe you, but here we are. There's mostly deep cuts on this thing, with the only exception being Closer, which is the mega hit, and of course that's going to be there, but it fits really, really well. It's a really great version of it. As Alive As You Need Me to Be is the other like big hit, but that's because it was on the Tron soundtrack. That's like the more recent hit. It's probably the best single 9 Inch Nails has had in years, and it all just works really, really well. It's just I'm surprised at how well it lands. Really respect Trent for doing this. He talked about working on another 9 Inch Nails record, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. So if you haven't given this a listen, if you're a 9 Inch Nails fan, I can definitely recommend it. It does do like the modern twist, but it actually works. And shout out to Noize too, because he was a big part of that. Even if you're not a fan of 9 Inch Nails, if you're into like Charlie XCX, if you're into like Slater, Justice is old, but I think a lot of people have been talking about Justice. If you're into that type of stuff, if you're into hyper pop, if you're into like the really noisy club stuff, this would be right up your alley. If you're looking for something different, I can definitely suggest this. This is a really great record. It's a really cool project. So that's my 2 cents on 9 Inch Noize.